Hi, welcome to the Mohua Show. My name is Mohua Chinappa and I am an author, entrepreneur, and ex housewife. This podcast is about everything from business to technology to arts to lifestyle, but done and spoken ईमानदारी से. Hi, in today's episode, we have Anshu Jhunjhunwala. Anshu is a restaurateur who started her cafe very recently called Cafe Stone during the pandemic in a hip lifestyle store called Cinnamon in Bangalore. As Anshu said to me that her journey started in 2010 when she decided to give herself a break from exporting bridal wear to UK. She thought that being at home and watching the kids grow will be her lifestyle. But no, one could not stop Firebrand Anshu Jhunjhunwala. She became a chef and she started feeding her children, which was her only goal in life, as she says. But the more you hear her, you learn more as to how she took her food business from just cooking at home into a catering business. And she started catering for very, very large corporate houses, catering for wedding events of over 3,000 people. You can hear me again. Catering for over 3,000 people. And now is the chapter of her cafe. As Anshu said to me, the entire journey for her has been very exhilarating. But what stays the most with me is this, that, as she says, if I can become a restaurateur from a home chef, I'm sure many more can. Welcome, Anshu Jhunjhunwala, and please tell me a little bit more about the start of the food business.
Thank you, Mohua, for having me here. And yes, the food business, I think, just happened very, very organically. I didn't know cooking when I got married. And I learned a lot of home cooking from my grandmom in law, who really literally taught me how to make rotis, how to temper a dal or a sabzi. So that kind of made me do a lot of home food. And yes, cooking for my children. I decided to stop my clothing business all one fine day. And that is because I read this little saying somewhere which said, if you don't look forward to a Monday, change your job. And if Saturdays don't excite you, change your friends. So I did wake up on a Monday morning and I realized that I don't look forward to it. So what do I need to do? I need to change my job. So I decided to stop my clothing business and stay at home, watch my kids grow. They were growing too fast. I have two little boys, not little anymore, but yes.
Oh, they're always little for us.
Yes, absolutely. So decided to stay home and be a good mom, cook for them, try to cook for them,
But
and
just being a good mom was not enough for
not enough.
you.
So in the bargain to feed them, I started learning how to cook, watched shows. My husband is an out and out foodie, and he kept showing me various cooking shows. That look at this, try and make it, see what you can do.
He was also the catalyst.
Yes, absolutely. So that's how it all started. And in the bargain, I started plating food for them because they were really fussy eaters. So I had to make sure that, they eat well, their tiffins look good. So started that, realized that yes, the kitchen is my happy place. And it was very de-stressing for me to cook. I didn't get stressed at all, which was quite funny for other women when they would hear that. But yes, it was. So that's how it started. Then, it just struck me that, okay, let me try and make this into, see how it goes. Friends encouraged me that you're doing a good job. Why don't you try catering? So started from one order a week, two orders a week, one order a day. And it just grew very, very organically. Uh, Being a creative person, I have also been an interior designer. So I started designing my own logo. I said, okay, let me do it myself. I did that. I'm a graphic designer as well. So I did that. And it grew little that I knew that I'm catering to corporates. I'm doing large
3,000
events.
people.
Yeah. I mean, I had never even, thought of this when I started it. It was like, okay, hobby based. Let's go for it. Home chef. And it just kept growing. The vision kept happening. My kids kept growing with it, literally seeing me work day in, day out. And yes, I was doing catering, I was doing events, I was doing corporate houses, I did weddings. And then, of course, I said, okay, if I can do this, I'm sure one day I can start my own restaurant and cafe, but something that I should resonate with. I just don't want a run of the mill space. And pandemic hit us. We didn't know what to do. And then Cafe Stone just literally came to me. So I said, okay, if it's come to me, it's for a reason. It has to happen.
How did it come to you?
It was through friends, through one of my women networking groups. And yes, I'm a part of one of the large women entrepreneurs groups in Bangalore, which is called CWE. And over there, a friend posted it, and another friend of mine, Tina, she put it out that Anshu, go look for it. I think you need to do it. And it just happened, you
And the
know.
rest is
The
history.
rest is history. So we have Cafe Stone running now, and I'm very, very proud of it.
Tell us a little bit about some signature dish of yours from Cafe Stone that we all must try when we go there.
You must try my signature khause, definitely my Burmese khause. And yes, our salads, our soups, and our open toasts have been quite talked about. We're just 2 weeks old, but they've really been doing well. We have a lovely spread. It's Italian, Mediterranean, a lot of continental food. So, but do give our salads a try. They're not to be missed.
Absolutely.
So, yes, going back to my teenage, when I was 17, I met a friend of mine, and she kind of became my guide, my mentor, uh, kind of mothered me, I would say. She's just 3 years older to me. But I really look up to her as, the biggest guiding factor in my life. And that was a time where I was really missing. I don't have an elder sister, I'm the eldest in my family. So her elder sister kind of became my sister. Her family became my family. Her brother-in-law, that's Jaji, became my Jaji. Her parents literally, and we both look alike. So her parents were like, we have twin daughters with the two of you around. So she encouraged me to work. With her, I started a clothing brand when I was 17 years old. She said, "You do the designing, I take care of the finance part," because she's an out and out finance girl. And that's how we started. And she said, if you don't start working today, you're never going to be working in your life. You'll become another Marwadi housewife girl sitting at home doing kitty parties. It's not wrong, but that's not how I see you in your life ahead. You have far more caliber than just not doing anything. So she actually created that focus in my life. She showed me that, yes, I can do something. And, I can focus in my life. I can build a career for myself. So that self esteem, that self finding is what she made me do. And even today, she is a very big factor in my life. She kind
She
of,
helped you search for yourself.
completely, completely. So even today, I look up to her as, a very important part of my life. And I thank her every moment. I thank her mother a lot because her mom gave me a lot of insight into my life, gave me a lot of value system. In fact, her sister, who also was in a joint family, she taught me how to live in a joint family, and how to make sure that everyone is happy and how do
I
you
can't
get
imagine
family
that.
together.
I've
Yes,
never lived in a joint family in my life
it's
ever.
not easy, but she gave me the way to do it. And I think I swayed it. I really did. I'm blessed. Even the in law side of my family, I don't feel they're in laws. They just love me. So I think
That's
she
because
gave
of who you
me.
are as a person, Anshu.
Thank
Also,
you.
yes.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
So, and she really taught me that, how to manage people, all of it. So I thank her a lot for that sensibility. And
You have an inherent intelligence within you, so you would obviously know how to navigate your way, in a joint family. So that is, of course, coming through the more we're talking to each other, and you need to give yourself credit there.
I guess so, yeah. But
Yeah.
I am a people's person. I love
Yes.
being around people. And I think if you are positive, nothing can go wrong. So if you see the good in everyone, like something that I very strongly again believe in, that there's nothing good or bad or right or wrong. It's how you
Absolutely.
look at it.
Yes.
For
It's
for
our
you,
perception.
exactly. For me, not being around when my child is home from school was all right because I was building up a career. But for someone else, that could be a huge mistake. That how can you not be around your child? But I also have to look at the other priorities. So I think it's just how you look at it and what you wish for yourself in your life.
Yeah. And whatever you wish for, you need to work towards it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So I have
because
always
you
set
can't have
goals.
your wishes. Yes, you have to set goals. Absolutely.
I
I'm
always have.
completely with you there.
Yes, I always have. And I've believed that the way comes, you need to carve your path through it.
Absolutely.
And
Say that again and again.
totally. And the whole, I think, system of karma is what I have believed in. That if I am doing good, nothing can go bad. Or even if it has, then I haven't done enough. So there is never a blame game, really. And it's just,
I think that we learn over time.
yes, I
It
have
doesn't
learned it
happen.
over time.
Yes, me too.
I have
I'm
blamed
still
people
learning.
a lot of
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
my life, but now I just turn around and thank them for it. So I don't see why one cannot be happy. It's a state of mind.
Fantastic. Men sometimes tend to get insecure. I'm not talking about your husband, but I'm talking about many men, of the earlier generation. I've spoken to so many women across the board, and I think that if they have a go getter and a strong wife, they tend to feel very insecure. And that insecurity sometimes emanates in little ways in which, she's generally kept in a little cage. Do you think you agree with that?
I 100% agree with that, but I think it is the people around him that feel more insecure.
And they pass that
They
on.
pass that on to him,
Okay.
and I think he takes pride in telling people that, oh, I'm Anshu's husband. When we're out, and he actually introduces himself like that, which, at times I tell him, don't do that. He says, no, but I'm very proud of you. So why shouldn't I do that? So I think I've just been blessed with that part of it.
Were you in a joint family?
Yes, we were earlier when we got married.
And how did you manage to do your catering business and all of that? Because if I were to understand, in Marwari homes, they can be conservative about a woman starting a business immediately on her own, unless it's a family business that she decides to join.
Absolutely right. So I was into my garment business when we were in together, and after we moved out of the joint home is when I started my catering business. Because actually, to be very honest, I didn't know cooking because I was so busy in my garment business that it never had time or the focus that, who's going to cook? I'm not going to do that. But then when we moved out and I decided to just shut shop and, stay home looking after my kids, because I read a saying somewhere, that if Mondays don't excite you, change your job. And if you don't look forward to a Saturday, change your friends. So I said, I don't
What
look
a
forward to.
wonderful statement for you to share also with me.
Absolutely. And I think everyone can think about this, that if you don't look forward to a Saturday, just change your friends, look for other people. And I didn't look forward to a Monday. So I decided to change my job. And staying at home, cooking for them, watching MasterChef, watching a lot of cooking shows. And my husband is an out and out foodie. And poor chap, I just couldn't cook for him. And he would show me these cooking shows that look how she's cooking, she can do it. I'm sure even you can try. And my kids were really fussy eaters. So to make sure that now that I'm home, what do? I'd rather just cook. So in the bargain, I found myself very, very happy in the kitchen. And this whole journey started. I had never even imagined that I would be a chef one day and I would be running an entire catering business and open a cafe one fine
Oh,
day.
yes. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And, this was something that I think, uh, again, like I say, God just showed me the path and I carved the way to it. I just followed that path. I started cooking, and friends started saying, you're cooking so well, you're plating so well. So that designer in me made the food look good, the neatness and the finesse. So it just,
So, obviously, you're a creative soul.
I am absolutely a
So,
creative
how
soul.
do you mix the creative and the business part of it? Because a lot of creative people have difficulty. Would you give that a credit to being a Marwari?
Yes, that
All right.
Marwadi in me is the business part of it.
Wonderful. I think it's such a great
It
combination.
is. And yes, I'm extremely creative. I get too passionate when I'm doing something, then I don't care what I'm getting paid or not paid. I'm like, no, I just need to do it. It just has to look like that. Of course, that's not business sense, but yes, now I've learned it the hard way. So I try and incorporate both in a very balanced way so that, my touch doesn't go away.
So, when you said that you left the joint family system and you started on your own, was there people who were not very happy about this decision that you had taken around you, and how did you navigate that whole thing, if it
Not
was
really. I think it just happened very organically.
okay?
And I think people around me realize that I am a very independent person.
So
So they
you owe
just
that
leave me.
independence to your mother?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. My mother has been an inspiration also, because she has led her life on her terms. And I think somewhere some of that
Why do you say that
has
she
come
has
in.
led life on her own terms?
So she walked out of a marriage when I was 6 years old, and she stepped into another one when I was about 11, which I was not very happy about. But yes, so she did take her own decisions. She did realize which were right, which were wrong, and she led her life on her terms. A lot of decisions, yes, we may not have, taken to or understood why it was taken, may not have liked it at that time. But today, when I look back, I look at it as yes, that was her life. She has led it, and it's commendable with
Yeah, and
whatever
you've
she's
inherited
done.
that
Yeah, so
guts.
that the guts, definitely yes, and the independence, because I have been financially independent since I was 16. So that I think gives you a lot of push, a lot of encouragement in your life. And again, I'm blessed that my husband understood that and values that a lot. And now my children do. You know, when you see pride in the eyes of your boys, I have two sons, I think that's the most rewarding thing ever.
Yes.
So I
They are
feel for a
actually our little
woman,
audiences in life who do the
yes,
clapping for you.
exactly. So I think for every woman, that little bit of acknowledgement from your children is very, very
I think
important.
acknowledgement, from friends, from people who are close to you is extremely important. And that I always say is the wind beneath my wings. When my supporters say that, oh, whatever you're doing, it's okay. Even if you fall, you will learn a lesson. And exactly like what you said, that people who've hurt me are the ones actually I'm grateful for. And I'm beginning to say thank you today, because I would have never been able to do what I am doing today. And if life was completely smooth for me, and it's been a very, very bumpy ride for me as well. But I'm just trying to understand a little bit more, Anshu, about how is it that your friends around you who had not, all our friends around us sometimes may not have the ability to really delve deep into your inner resilience and start something on your own. And sometimes what happens, unfortunately, is this, that they are protective, and sometimes they can be also, not very, very happy that you're going to become different from them. And did you face that, and how did you kind of ride over it?
Yes. So, one thing is, I have very few very, very close friends whom I've just stuck to, or rather, who have stuck to me. And yes, I went through a phase where I was really trying to build myself up. So, I gave up going to parties. I was not socially active because I started a whole catering business, and which would demand me to be out on weekends, on holidays, during festivals. So I was never available for the family. I was not available for friends. None of my social parties is what I was attending to. So I was attending and doing up other people's parties, and, celebrating Diwali with strangers.
How
So
did your family react to that?
they were very supportive.
Oh, wonderful.
Very supportive. I mean, there was one Diwali I remember where I had puja in my house. So I shifted it earlier so that I could do catering in the night. So I finished the puja, changed into my catering gear, and I was there out working. And they were fine. They said, yes, this is your season. If you're going to say no to parties on Diwali, which is your peak season, I don't see why you're running a business. That was what my husband told me. So when I asked him, I said, I have a catering for Diwali. Is it okay? He said, what do you mean, is it okay? That's your season. You better do it. So
What kind of food did you start with when you were doing the catering work? Was it Indian cuisine?
not Indian, it was
Okay.
Italian. And Burmese Houseway kind of became my signature because my mom's side of the family hails from Burma. They moved into India during the war. So the Burmese dish is kind of a heirloom recipe that has come down years. And our family was kind of famous for doing Burmese food. So I learned it from mom, and people would come home that, she had to make Burmese. So as I picked it up from her, she learned it from my nanny, from my grandmom. And I kind of started tweaking the dish, of course, because honestly, our khause was quite Madu flavor, as I always call it. But yes, I tried to tweak it and make it more palatable, to a larger audience. So I say that the Burmese Houseway is what really made me famous and what I got known for. So that is what I started with. A lot of Italian, a lot of Mexican, because those are the foods that I relate to. And yes, of course, a lot of Pan Asian. So I learned Japanese when I went to Japan. I was there for 3 months. So I picked that up and I
What's your earliest experience with food? Like for me, my earliest experience with food, is I go back to the time that my mother on Sundays, in most Bengali homes, they make mutton.
okay.
And for us, when we cook our dishes, our vegetables are cut in a certain way for each dish,
Right.
or else the texture and the flavor completely changes.
Changes.
Yeah. So, like, in the mutton, the potatoes are all diced, they're round. And when you make a fish curry, we have to cut it long.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Right.
potatoes. And potatoes are, of course, such an inherent ingredient in all Bengali cuisine.
Right.
So my earliest memories are, of this pressure cooker, prestige pressure cooker, and the mustard oil, like she's just heating it up and she's putting the bay leaves and the potatoes, and then she's marinated the mutton. And, and I was probably painting or writing or doing something. Um, my father used to travel a lot. So I was also almost raised alone by my mother. But those memories are my most, they're, those tastes, no? Um, is not something that I can get even in the best of the places. Yeah.
You
And I,
can't.
yeah. And I think it has something to do with your mother and the energy. So, what would you say was your first experience if you were to look back right now when we both are talking to each other about
Yeah.
food?
Oh, that goes really, really way back. For me, my mother was always in this organza crisp sari and beautifully pinned up her sari, didn't move at all. And I just loved her like that. And she was a good cook. She stopped cooking now. So for me, that she would always make was this thick dal and a very sticky rice with a lot of ghee and salt. And that was my absolute go to food. Even today, if I just get that, I think I'm the happiest person. And one thing for me as a child was always my grandmom, that's my nani, and my two aunts, my mommy, who actually brought me up while my mom was going through her turmoil in her life, is they always put me into this habit of feeding me. I hated eating on my own. So for me,
I
every
did that for
time,
my son too.
so for me, if they ever saw that okay, the only way to feed this girl is to sit down and feed her. So they would sit down, and even today, at this age, they still, if I'm sitting with them, I don't eat food on my own. They have to feed me.
Oh,
So
sweet.
even they know that okay, she's
Baby
gonna only
Anshu.
eat by us. Literally, they still call me that. And one very beautiful memory that I have is the day I got married. We had our reception in the night and we're not eating dinner. I come down and the first thing, both my mommies are sitting over there with a dinner plate and they said, "Come, we'll feed you. You've not eaten." And that was so beautiful. So for me, it is, that home food, that just that dal, chawal, and aloo ki sabzi is
Oh, yeah, yeah. You can never go
the,
wrong.
you can never go wrong. So that's the
Absolutely.
absolute comfort soul food.
For you.
Yeah. And what they make.
Yeah. But have you tried making it? And does your children also like the same food, or are they more, international in their food habits?
They are, because I think I'm to blame for that.
Yeah.
But yes, they do love, the sabzis that I make for them. So I was unwell for about a month, and my younger one actually came up to me and said, "Get some courage and go to the kitchen. No, we're missing your food. Just cook something for us, whatever you can." And I think I just got the energy. God just gave me the energy that go and cook for your children. And I got up, I went to the kitchen, I just made them a sabzi and a baked dish, and they were so happy. I said, I'm fine. This is all I needed. So I think that's beautiful to just
I
have
would
your
like
children
you,
want.
for all my listeners, I think so many women all across India and the world, and I've spoken to so many women till now, they're always frightened of taking that first step.
Yes.
And I would really like you to share a few words about how is it that you, decided to start, Stone Cafe, and what was that the thought behind saying that no, 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 now is the time for me to move on from there. So, just share that with us.
So the journey from literally being a home chef, taking one order a week or 3 orders a week, which grew organically. And then moving into the catering space, moving into corporate catering, and then finally Cafe Stone just coming to me, literally. So I think it was that constant belief in self that yes, I can do it. And having the belief that if something has come to you, it hasn't come by the way. And I
Yes.
think for every woman, it's very important to understand her inner strength, to believe that she is a creator and she can do anything and everything that she believes in. So, when I hear some women say that, how do we do this? We don't have the talent, or we don't know how to do it. We haven't learned it. No one taught you how to be a mother.
Oh,
No one
yeah.
taught you how to be a daughter. No one taught you that this is the way you're supposed to look after your husband. Did you learn how to serve your parents? You didn't, right?
No, you didn't.
So,
Absolutely no.
why can't you just do something? It doesn't have to be book taught, it doesn't have to be college gone, it doesn't have to be certified. Believe in yourself that yes, I can do this and I want to do this.
And before we end, I want you to tell a little bit about your studies because, for me, this is so inspirational because somewhere I've met so many people who have not really pursued their formal education and yet
Right.
they've gone ahead and had that much of gumption and fire in them to take things forward because I think it's a school every day in our lives. And
Absolutely.
I don't remember much of my history. I don't remember much of my geography, but I just remember English that I enjoyed, as a subject and
Right.
art, to an extent, which I've given up
Right.
now. And so tell us a little bit about how, did you put this whole thing together? Because you said you didn't pursue your studies.
Yes, I didn't. So formally, I did not go to college after my 10th standard
Okay.
because I was never academically inclined really, and I felt that I was always a very creative person.
Okay.
So I said doing BCom or BA is not what excites me or even makes me want to get up in the morning and do that. So I did a lot of courses on fashion designing, interior designing. I'm a qualified interior designer, a certified fashion designer. So I did that. I pursued both the journeys and I wanted to see which one excites me the most. So I got into fashion for a while and then I kept skilling myself. My self skilling never stopped. So I did courses that did not require a 12th grade certificate or a 10th grade certificate or something that said you have to be a graduate to do this. And I found enough and more opportunities. I networked with people. I learned a lot with people, which I think gave me a lot of insight into myself. And I can very proudly say that, last year, during the pandemic, when it just started, I got recognized by an organization as the top 10 women entrepreneurs of the year.
Wonderful. Congratulations,
Yes, thank
Anshu.
you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. I then went down and got recognized as the top 10 caterers of the year,
Wonderful.
which was very nice. I got chosen for a accelerator program and I got to do an IMB program on financial analysis. So I actually, not having been a formal graduate, I actually hold a certificate from IIMB, which I think
I'm stumped.
is the biggest reward in my life. And it just makes me feel very, very happy. It makes me feel that yes, I've achieved something. And again, I come back to saying that every woman just needs to believe in herself. That power is within, that strength is within. Just get it out,
Absolutely.
just
Absolutely.
recognize it. I think that is something that's beautiful.
Thank you so much, Anshu, for being on today's podcast and the show today. And before I end, what's your Instagram handle? And if you have a phone number for the restaurant, if you could share it on the show. And it's a beautiful cafe in the heart of the city. And we have Firebrand Anshu Jhunjhunwala, who is right now here on the podcast with me. And she will tell us how we can get in touch with her.
Thank you, Mahua. I think it was a beautiful experience to allow me to share my journey with you on this podcast. Yes, we are on Instagram, Cafe Stone BLR, and the landline number over there is 4115-4102, where you can make a booking, you can reach out to us, and we're open all 7 days, 11 to 7 p.m. So I hope to see more and more Bangaloreans there. And thank you, Mohua, once again.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. To you, our dearest listeners, you can find us on your favorite streaming services, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and of course on all other major streaming services. With loads of love, we are The Mohua Show, where we talk ईमानदारी से.